cycle of human civilization. It'll always go on.
Of course, but if you lessen this war, if you try to avoid war as much as possible through other means such as diplomacy, don't we all agree that everyone will be more happier than they are right now?
As we both just said, well, at least as I said, he said diplomacy is going to be there no matter what, because war is going to be there no matter what. In our view of the 21st century, as 17-year-old teenagers, I don't know how old you are. 17. Yeah, but the point I'm trying to make for you right now is that sometimes diplomacy, even though it looks like the most beautiful answer, is proving on and on and on and on to sometimes be quite inefficient.
Of course, just as the rule of war are.
So then what do you propose?
I propose, if I have the authority to propose anything, I suggest that if war should not be the absolute necessity, like when there is a conflict, the two sides should try to solve this conflict through any other means but war. So in this way, wouldn't the rules of war become they wouldn't be needed anymore, because there's only diplomacy there.
Yeah.
Until we're not in that situation where the disagreement is, until we're not in this kind of social condition, the economic condition, we can't just sit here and say that no, they should just sit down and talk. Of course,
they should try.
They should try and sit down and talk, obviously. But can we really judge them from afar and just say, yeah, just sit down and talk? We are fighting for our land, for someone.
Humans' lives.
They might be fighting for their land. They might be saying that they have suffered oppression and that's why they're fighting back. Someone might say they're attacking us, they're terrorists, and we're fighting back. How can you just tell them, okay, guys, just sit down and talk?
Also,
it doesn't always work.
Also remember that the people that sit down in the diplomacy centers, at the end of the day, they're much further away, both physically and psychologically, from the conflict than the people that are actually there. So even though they could sit down and say, this is what I think that economically works for my country, this is what I think that that will bring further on development, does it really? Do we all agree with that? Because, for me, I don't know, the diplomat in the UN, I think this is what's going to work, and this is what my country thinks, but the person in the middle of the war-torn country thinks that is just a load of and that's not going to work. And these disagreements at the end of the day are what's making diplomacy not reach its 100% goal, which is to stop war.
I totally agree with you.
And
so shouldn't one try to improve this diplomatic approach?
We're already trying to improve the diplomatic approach. The UN was formed to improve this diplomatic approach.
Yeah.
Everybody sits down and tries to find common ground. That is true, and that'll keep happening forever. And we want that to keep happening. But
we can't just assume it's going to be
the question was
100% tool.
Our rules of war. I agree that they can seem to put life in a very low. They can seem to be put low worth on life. It can seem like if war, obviously not having war is the best alternative, but till negotiations go on, till everything goes on, there has to be a realistic rules of war, so that war can be monitored and certain things are always respected, even in time.
And we can just hope that these rules of war are respected.
Of course.
Okay, I'll just say something. I think Emil has a very strong point when he says that he finds it morbid. I think the word maybe is strange that people would sit down and actually try to set rules, as you said, like a game of football, of rugby. It is indeed counterintuitive and sounds rather strange, but as you reply to that, the reality is that so far it seems to be better than nothing. But it is, I can understand your point, where it is so strange to sit down and actually write in details rules for war.
I don't know how you guys felt, but I'm not I'm not that special. I just sat down and they showed me a piece of paper with an extract of how you're allowed to kill someone in a war. And I think, how could you,
to kill anyone?
First of all, how are you allowed to kill someone in the first place? And how could you have the mentality to actually sit down with a lot of people and have the confidence and strength to say, don't use civilian shields, fight for yourself. If you get a headshot, then boo-hoo. It's, as I said, it's a strong word, I must agree. But I think that, from my understanding, it's quite on the spot, because it's a very morbid feeling to actually sit down and say, this point, these are the ones that are allowed, this is this. And then they also brought in another point, and how do they regulate these things?
Unfortunately, sometimes you have to realism can lead you to such things. And they had good intentions. They were just being realistic. And yes, it might seem a bit, yeah, you can kill someone like that, but you can't kill someone like that. But unfortunately, that's the way the world is, and we have to run with the world.
I never proposed to ban war. I mean, I think that conflict is part of our nature. We always have discussions, we have debates, and sometimes these debates go to not talking to each other, to not even looking at each other, and sometimes to actually shoot at each other with guns. And we're trying our hardest to stop this. We're only 17-year-old teenagers who are trying to come up with solutions, but at the end of the day, we need to set our goals straight, and that is to get somewhere, because we have conflict, we have diplomacy, we have tools, but are we really getting somewhere? Some say that we're improving because we have rules on how to keep war humane, as paradoxical as it sounds, and some of us think that, you know, we're having diplomacy, we're getting to talk, you know, talking is the way. We have the tools, but the end result is still quite a bit far, and it is up to all of us, not only as GIM, not only as diplomats in the UN, it's up to all of us globally to actually sit down and use the tools to get a real result, whether it's stopping conflict for a couple of years or to actually build a system where we can target conflict and end it immediately, or at least hinder it.
Education is very important. Yeah, everybody needs to be educated. Educated people are less likely to fight. That has been seen everywhere. Educated and more prosperous societies are less likely to fight amongst each other. If we see civil wars, they are largely in countries which have not achieved the level of economic development which other countries have.
That is true.
And therefore, raising economic development, creating equality, social fairness, goes away towards ending conflict. I don't think conflict can ever be ended, because I don't think we can always achieve complete equality and complete freedom and complete everything. But that is the aim of mankind, and that should be the aim of mankind.
Okay, guys, thank you very, very much. That was really good. Thank you.
Thanks a lot.
No problem.
And it was great to recreate.